Hey, what's going on everyone, and welcome back to another Disney Lorcana card of the day. I'm Steggy, and today's card of the day is none other than the Magic Mirror. Now, Magic Mirror we've seen for a while. It's been out for a long time, or it's been released for a long time, or spoiled, or however you want to say it. The Magic Mirror is an item card in Amethyst. It costs 2 resources, but it cannot be inked. It doesn't have the swirl, it's not inkable. And it has a simple effect. It's called Speak. And you exert it and pay 4 resources, and then you draw a card. And this was a very fun card when it came out because we didn't know how the game was played. We had no idea. We were speculating, and we were wondering, is paying 4 resources to draw a card good? And we were worried that maybe you don't draw a lot of cards in this game. Your hands are going to be, small. It's just going to be rough. It's going to be a lot of top decking. Now that we know how to play, now we can officially evaluate Magic Mirror. How is Magic Mirror? What is it like? Well, it is an Amethyst, and we've seen 2 other cards in Amethyst that draw cards. We had Friends from the Other Side, which is a song card. It costs 3 resources, and it lets you draw 2 cards. That's it. You could draw 2 cards, and you can sing it too. It's a song card. And then we also have another purple Maleficent, another Amethyst Maleficent. She also costs 3 resources, but when she comes into play, you simply just draw a card, and that's it. You may draw a card. And then we have the Magic Mirror as our third form of actual just card draw. And for 4 resources and an exertion, you can draw a card. So how does this rank up? Comparatively, it's probably the weakest of the 3 raw card draw we have right now. We also have stuff like Be Our Guest in Amber and Develop Your Brain in Sapphire, where it kind of lets you draw a card. It's more like you're replacing 1 for 1. I mean, Maleficent also replaces 1 for 1, but she also comes on the field and can quest and get you lore and stuff, so that's a little bit of a trade-off. But I mean, the Magic Mirror can be reusable though, can be used quite a bit. Now, is 4 resources for a card good? That's hard to say. I think that this card is definitely better when it's played later in the game. I don't think it's an early game draw. The fact that it does cost 2 resources means, yeah, you could put it into play early, but why would you? You're going to want to use your resources to be playing other cards. You're going to be putting characters down. You're going to be playing other action cards. You probably aren't going to be using this card very often. But where Magic Mirror does shine is that if you have nothing else to do for 4 resources, you can at least draw a card. And that's why I think this card is much better in a late game situation where maybe your card draw has run out and you're just kind of top decking. If you're at that point, then spending 4 resources to draw a card, or essentially drawing an extra card on your turn, isn't too bad. That's not terrible because you weren't going to get the extra card draw anyway, and it's not like you were going to use those resources for anything. You could have 7, 8 resources or 8 ink in play, and you could draw a 2-cost Yzma. And then what are you going to do with those other resources? Well, now at least you can draw a card and maybe be a little better prepared for the following turn. So it's helpful that way. I don't think the Magic Mirror is like a 4 of in any deck. Like, you want to include 4 copies because it cannot be inked. You can't use it for a resource. And that's a big turnoff. If the card was inkable, I think it would be much, much better. Because at the very least, if you get any extra copies of it, you can just dump it into your ink. And just have 1 or maybe 2 in play, just in case of item destruction. And we have seen that. We do have a beast card, which does destroy items. So, having a backup isn't terrible. But, overall, I mean, Magic Mirror, as we've seen, is just kind of like an okay card. The 4 resources is quite a bit to play early on. Again, you're going to want to be playing other things. Because, on my 4th turn, if I put a resource down and I have no resource acceleration, I haven't put extra cards into my inkwell with Detective Mickey or with 1 jump ahead. I'm just sitting on 4 ink in my inkwell and I decide to play Magic Mirror. I mean, I've gained an extra card, but I haven't done anything to the board state. if I was in a bad situation and I needed that card for the following turn, yeah, I could, you know, I could see that. And, you know, the pace of the game might be a little slower depending on what type of deck you're playing against. So maybe drawing that card isn't terrible, but we've seen a lot of aggression right now in the metagame. It's just basically how fast can I win? I mean, we are seeing more and more interaction. We've seen more steel cards like Smash that deal damage. We have Let It Go in Sapphire. We have Dragonfire in Ruby. We have some interaction, you know, we have some stuff, but it's still a bit of a slog. It's still, hey, I have more characters out. I'm gonna get lore faster. Good game. You want to play the next one. So you might not want to lose that tempo advantage. So, you know, overall, what do I think of this card? I think it's okay. I think if you're playing an Amethyst deck, I think having like 2 copies of Magic Mirror would be fine. Probably very rarely would you see both at the same time, which is good. If you do get both, it's only 2 resources, so you can put them in play and just not worry about it. But if you do get one, you can think, okay, at the very least, if I have 4 resources open, I can draw a card, right? It's something for me to do. It's not like game breaking. It's not like, oh my gosh, I need my Rockstar Stitch, or where is my Aurora that has Ward or something, you know? Where are my good cards? Where are my deck cards at, so I can play the game? It's just like extra card draw if you have the extra resources for it. It's not bad. It's not a bad card. I don't think any of the cards we've seen are bad. Every card is playable. It's just that maybe some cards are better than others at what they do, you know, for example. And the Magic Mirror, I think, is just the weakest card draw. It is reusable. It is reusable, which is kind of nice. And I give it points for that. But it's just okay. It's just an okay draw. Now, if it said draw 2 cards, well, now we're talking. Now that's something. Even if it was like 1 more resource, if it was like 5 ink to draw 2 cards, yeah, I'd be all over that. That sounds pretty heckin' good. So overall, like, what I rank this card, I think it's like a 6 out of 10, which is typically like my lowest ranking for a card. The only thing I'd give like 5 or less, 5 out of 10, would be if one card was just clearly better than another. Like, if we talk about Emerald, let's talk about Emerald Mickey, that vanilla card, who's a 3-cost 3/4. And if there was who has 1 lore, and if there was another Emerald vanilla card that was a 3-cost 3/4 that had 2 lore, well then yeah, the Emerald Mickey just isn't as good anymore because he's just clearly outclassed. So in that situation, I'd give like Emerald Mickey a lower cost, or I'm sorry, a lower ranking, because there's just clearly a better card. You know, with the Magic Mirror, you know, Magic Mirror is just a 6 out of 10. It's a 6 out of 10. It's okay. It's not bad. It's not a bad card, right? I wouldn't feel bad having one in play, but it's not super important to my deck. It's just there. It is what it is. So yes, I'm gonna give it a 6 out of 10. Drawing a card is nice, but the 4 resources can be a hefty cost, and it's probably better for late game to get that extra card draw. So there we go. Okay. Well, hey, thanks for watching. You know, I appreciate it. Thanks for listening. It means a lot. I just want to talk about the Magic Mirror again, and just to see how it holds up. And it's like, nah, as of right now. You know, I will say as a quick note, if there is some sort of synergy where there's a character that does something when you draw a card, okay, now the Magic Mirror has definitely gone up in a few rankings. It's definitely more useful because it's a reusable effect, okay? But we don't have that right now. There's nothing about hand size, nothing about drawing cards. There's just nothing that's really beneficial, you know, and paying 4 resources to just get a card that's a little rough. That's quite a bit. So, but yeah, that's it. All right, I'm all done. I'm all done. It's a 6 out of 10. It's okay. It's an okay card. So thanks for watching. I appreciate it. It means a lot. Stay safe out there. Make good decisions. And I will see you in the next one. Okay, bye.